Good morning. I'm very grateful and honored to visit India, and I'm also very thankful to the UNWTO, to Mr. Secretary General Zurab Pololi-Kashvili, to Incredible India, to the Honorable Minister Prahalad Singh Patel, to ministers, diplomats, guests, and everyone here, for the opportunity to show you some of the pages of my personal diaries, which are actually a very important part of why we're here today. It's about us, the human connection. Why are we here? Why am I here? Because this is our life. Photography is a prism that sees the world. We all use it. It frames and captures unique moments of time forever. Not only does it give us the chance to preserve our personal experiences, but to open up our conscious minds, communicate, and learn even more about the world that we live in. My name is Ana Nance, and I am an international cultural photographer and like to call myself a global nomad with a diary of visual stories. But I'm not only a photographer. I'm a storyteller, I'm a communicator, and I'm a real influencer because I create my own ideas and I share them with others, hoping to aspire. We are here to celebrate, so the focus of my presentation is the rainbow of faces that make up this global map of travel. A homage to the cultural diversity that is offered in all of these people we cross paths with along all of our journeys. We are so fortunate to be a part of a driving force that gives jobs, hopes, new ideas, and a better future to so many people that otherwise may have had a less fruitful path. These people fill in the alphabet of life, and I have experienced them during my travels to almost 100 countries on assignment. I have created a fun few minutes in order to brighten up this event and share their inspiring energy, promoting the importance of all the flavors that make up our industry on this World Tourism Day. Remember, this is the power and value of creative visual communication. Also remember, as each and every one of you go along your way, to let them in by recognizing their importance, and without them, our motor would stop. Give them a smile, and even just for a second, recognize them, because it would make a huge difference in this world we all interact in. I'll narrate a presentation I've created for today of edited portraits. Using the English alphabet, I'll go letter by letter to feature a job, a person, and a little story. These are real people with real stories that I have met and spent time with, so I would like to also thank them for opening up their hearts. This is proof that we live in an incredible world filled with beautiful and culturally rich people. A, the artist. This is an artist from Lagos, Nigeria, who promotes arts and culture and has an amazing art gallery and sells to many people that travel throughout Africa. This is an artisan. This is a wood carver in Agra. On one of my previous trips to India, I had the grand idea of traveling to Taj Mahal on a Friday. As most of you know, it's closed. So I ended up wandering around the village of Agra, which is near the Taj Mahal, and met some really beautiful people, and this family were local wood carvers. B, bartenders. This bartender actually almost saved my life. This is on an island in Nicaragua in the Caribbean of Central America. And we traveled across a very rough sea on a dinghy boat, which is just a small little 6-seater boat during a tropical storm. So of course I was very happy this bartender gave me a drink when I arrived. This is a blogger in Istanbul, Turkey. C, cocktail waitress, Windows of the World in New York City. A chef in Bolivia. This is a Danish chef who opened up a restaurant in La Paz, Bolivia, and she's actually helping to save local recipes and has opened up a culinary school. A clown. This is in Punta Arenas, Chile. a circus performer from Cirque du Soleil. Costume characters. This is on Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles. And the Cotton Candy Man. It's in Istanbul, Turkey. D, dancers. This is in Bhutan. I was on assignment doing a story on the gross national happiness, which actually the Vice President was speaking on before. Another dancer in Zambia. This is a Makishi dancer. Disabled. These are disabled people who dress up as Smurfs in the Plaza Mayor in Madrid, Spain. And these are disabled performers. They have lost their legs from the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia. E, elephants. This is actually in Jaipur. And this elephant is in Nepal, in the National Park of Chitwan. F, flight attendant. This was actually on my flight here with Emirates, Soraya. A fashion designer in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. A fisherman in the Phi Islands of Thailand. G, a tea gardener in China. A giraffe in Nairobi at the Giraffe Manor. This is a very interesting trust fund, the Edric Shedrick Trust Fund at the Giraffe Manor in Nairobi. It's a very popular place for tourists to go, and they have an incredible initiative of saving elephants and giraffes. The gorillas of Uganda and Burundi Impenetrable National Forest, also in Rwanda. H, the hotel staff. This is a woman who works for Melia in the Serengeti in Tanzania. And this is a Maasai who also works for the same hotel in the it's in the Serengeti. And this is in Spain, in Avila, Aparador. I, the ice cream man. This is in Guatemala, in Lake Atitlan. And an ice cream girl, and this is in Lisbon, Portugal. International aid workers. When I did my research for this presentation, I looked up on the internet which were the highest number of jobs in travel, and it was international aid workers. And this is the feed program with the WFP of the United Nations. J, the journalists. Like so many of you that are here today, this is a writer. And this is a photographer. This is in the Canary Islands at a zoo in Tenerife. K, the Kumari. This is a living goddess that lives in a palace in Kathmandu, and so many tourists go and wait for just a glimpse of her, and I was very lucky to shoot her portrait. L, the locals. So many locals that we are able to interact with and also give them wonderful experiences. They share their stories with us. We share ours with them. This is in Tangier, Morocco. This is in Lisbon, Portugal, also a local. And this is in Nicaragua, another local. M, the museum guides. This is at the Whitney Museum in Soho in New York City. And this is another museum guide at MoCA in Shanghai in China. A mariachi. This is in Jalisco, in Mexico. Actually, I was with the UNWTO on World Tourism Day 3 years ago, I think it was. A little, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Anyways. These are masseuse at a spa, also in Nicaragua. And a musician. This is at the Aman Summer Palace in Beijing. Bhutan again. This is a monk. Gross national happiness. And another monk in the province of Yunnan in China. In the natives. This is in Guadalajara, Mexico. So many natives, so many cultures that I've seen through my experiences that have had the opportunity of preservation through tourism, which I think is an incredible initiative and something that gives them hope also to be able to preserve their history and traditions. This is also in Mexico and Jalisco. This is in Myanmar. And this is in China as well. This is at Lugu Lake. These are the Wa people. And oh, the Orient Express, very classic train that travels from London to Istanbul. This is the staff on the train that I took on assignment some years ago. P, the policeman. This is the United Nations policeman at an airport in Cyprus, which is actually now a museum that's from the Cyprus conflict, and tourists can actually go and visit the airport. Very interesting. A policeman in Bhutan. And the PR, all the people that work in public relations and marketing and communications. And this is Monty, working for South Africa Tourism. Monty took me around South Africa. He was a great, great guide, except for when we had to go to a safari in the morning and wake up very early. I like that portrait of him. And Q. I couldn't find anything for Q in my archive. I didn't think I could find anything. So again, I looked online for jobs in tourism that start with Q. And I came up with quality control. So here's a person in the Lomé airport of Togo. And this is a portrait that I shot of a woman in Qatar. She was keeping the sanitary worker. R, the rangers. This is in South Africa, in Sabi Sabi National Park. I have such an incredible memory from this particular man. He took me around the park for a couple of days, but it was his stories that he told. And I remember some of them so clearly, and when I put this presentation together, it was very clear to me that this man was a great example of how he's touched my life. S, sadhu. This is a sadhu in Kathmandu, Nepal. And a street performer in the ghetto of Soweto in South Africa. Shop owners in Santiago de Chile. And another shop owner in Istanbul, Turkey. A shoe shiner in Mexico City. And Santa Claus in a zoo in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, my hometown. T, a ticket salesman on Coney Island, New York City. A taxi driver in Shanghai, China. And these are tour guides in New Zealand. These are Maui people who give tours on the culture of the Mauis. Tour guide in Egypt. I think this was in Hurghada on the Red Sea. And tourists. This is on safari in Tanzania. And tourists in Taiwan, in Taipei. You? This was a tough one. Couldn't find you. I looked in the dictionary. And all the words under you were UN, 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 UN. So I saw the word underwear, and I figured I must have a portrait of someone in their underwear. And there he is, the naked cowboy. This is a theater group in New York City. And when it's nice outside, some of the naked cowboys will go and play their guitar in Times Square. V, the volunteers. This is a woman in Oslo, Norway, and a vendor in Santiago de Cuba, in Cuba. A villager in Morocco. I think this is near Melilla, in the north of Morocco. And villagers in Uganda, in the southern part of Uganda. W, waiters. This is in Lisbon also, Portugal. A waitress in Seville, Spain. Another waitress in Seoul, South Korea. And a wedding planner in Cyprus. X. Oh, I couldn't come up with X. So I was going to give an award if someone could come up with X. But I couldn't come up with a job title with X. I'm sure there's one out there, but I couldn't bring one up. And Y. Yoda. also in Los Angeles on Hollywood Boulevard. Yogi. This is actually in New Delhi. I shot this many years ago. And zebras in the Serengeti in Tanzania, and a zoologist. This was also in Zambia and Victoria Falls. So yeah, that's it.